We will
Nice.
get right into it here and start with the quarterbacks. I'm trying to transition out of my intro here, but I'm so ingrained in it. I was listening to that podcast with Alan Sislowski the other day, and I don't know if you've seen any of their tips, but they said you'll notice in the first 30 seconds you lose a lot of your viewers. So skip your fucking intro. Nobody cares who you are. Get to the important shit. Tell them who you are at the end of your show.
I care about your Christmas decoration, Jesse.
That's right.
Yeah. Keep in mind he's drinking as he says it, though. So
Hey, I got water today. We got water.
Sure
That's the best kind of audience. The drunk
Sure
audience
you
is the
do.
best audience.
All right, let's get into it. The QB waiver wire is a fucking gold mine just because there's so many backups. Can you ever remember a season where there were this many backup quarterbacks playing? Like, I look at my weekly rankings. To be a top 16 quarterback, you just had to start for your team in week 1. 17 or 18, all the way to 32, backup. But like, look at this list here. I mean, Russell Wilson's a backup, but he's the starter. But what are you doing, Jesse? I look over at you like this.
I was sneezing. And I had nothing.
Oh, like, wow, he was really offended by my Russell Wilson comment. But
don't talk about the Seahawk like that.
All right. So we'll start with the top two options. Top two levels of options here are the ones that are actually going to be starters. Most of them are only available in like maybe a quarter of single QB leagues because they're all QB2s. You got Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Sam Howell. If any of them are still available in your league, you should have them. I mean, I guess at this point, you're going to see them. I noticed these actually went down. Some of them didn't qualify because I cut it off at 80%, but it went down because we've got a lot of leagues where these guys were dropped because bye weeks have passed, with the exception of 2 this week. So, and I think Sam Howell was one of the 2 buys this week. Then the medium level, we've got Jordan Love, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. These are the guys where they're, like I said, they're more super flex targets. Jordan Love's starting to become interesting where I'm hearing him in 1 QB league, but I don't think I start him in any 1 QB leagues, but I don't have a whole lot of him. Deeper leagues is where we get into some of the backups here. Probably the creme de la creme of the backups. We've got Josh Dobbs, Gardner Minshew, and Jameis Winston. Those have been the best. I think I would even elevate Joe Flacco up. He was good. The dart throws, we've got Bailey Zappi, Mitch Trubisky, and my article didn't update. Let me hit update here, and I will show you I added one because I added CJ Beathard. And
you missed one still.
Who's that?
Jake the Snake Browning, my man.
I don't know about this. Pass. So I have you know what the funny part is? I only added CJ Beathard because someone mentioned it on one of the podcasts, and I was like, is that true? And I looked into it, and he's surprisingly good at putting up a minimum of 20 fantasy points in his occasional spot starts. So, whereas Jake Browning, what did Browning put up last night? I did not watch much of the game.
27. He went bonkers.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will add him. This was
32 of 37 for 354, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground.
Gotcha. I will add him now. He was I went to bed a bit early before that game ended last night. Me and my kid were not feeling well, so he will be a late addition. I didn't know he was that good. Anyway, so what are you guys thinking here? Well, who's the targets you're going after?
Well, if you get to this bottom tier, like I'm fine going with the Flacco or Browning. Like I really don't want to do Bailey Zappi or Mitchell Trubisky. No. Like we've seen that enough. So I'll take, like we saw Flacco. He almost got you 20 points last week. He was able to conduct that offense in a way they have not been conducted pretty much all season, which is respectable. So like I'm fine with that. But like when you get to the higher guys, yeah, Jordan Love, I much prefer him to Geno at this point. He's just been better the last month plus. He seems like he's come on. And he gets the Giants this week. So I'm like, the quarterback's figured it out. He's got the skill position players, and you're playing against the Giants? Yeah. Sign me up. I'm totally fine with that with Jordan Love. He looks like a legit NFL starting quarterback for the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's probably my number one, although I do have a decision I'm facing down for a backup QB in a 1 QB league. I have Lamar. I played Russell last week, but I'm considering dropping Wilson for Love. The problem is Russell Wilson faces the Chargers, the Lions, the Patriots, who have been good on D, but are totally out of it. And then the Chargers again. And the Chargers are just hemorrhaging points. That schedule is phenomenal. So I'm sticking with Wilson, I think, at the moment over Love, just because the schedule is so good.
Right. I love how the Chargers are so bad and the Patriots couldn't even score any points. That's about their other offenses. I was like, goodness gracious, man.
It's ugly, man. We're on to next season. We're on next season over here.
Wow. That's a lovely schedule, though, there.
Yeah,
it's nice for Russell. Like I like Russell, dude. I think he's going to do very well. He struggled last week, but like he should bounce back and be fine. Like I think he had 11 rushing attempts again, so they are running him quite a bit. Like it's Justin Fields level usage of rushing, which is kind of surprising. But hey, get it, Russ.
I cannot believe every time I do this article, I cannot believe how low the rostership is for Sam Howell. And like I said, he puts up he goes up to 80, 90%. Then he has one bad game or his bye week's coming up, and you'll see him go down to 60, 70% again. Then he'll have a great game and he goes back up to 90%. Like it's unbelievable how quickly everyone bails out on Sam Howell on a semi-weekly basis. So I know at this point it's like, no, there's no way Sam Howell is available in my league, and he probably isn't, but he double check because, like I said, he's on bye. I think it's Arizona, Washington are the last two buys this week.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so.
I don't know.
I'm actually not sure. Now I need to look.
I'm pretty sure, but assuming that's true, I don't know how many people would be holding on to Sam Howell through his bye week. So if you could afford to, go grab Sam Howell. I like Kyler, obviously. I think I like Jordan Love over Russell Wilson as well. I would have said I'd go Howell, Kyler, Love, Wilson, Geno, Baker for the top group here. I added Browning for you. This group, I think they're all pretty much the same. I think Jameis is going to have the highest ceiling, but he's also going to have the lowest floor. And then this group is kind of desperation. I much prefer Joe Flacco out of the final, like the dart throw group here. I want nothing to do with Zappy. I want really nothing to do with Trubisky. And if I'm really desperate, I have a league where it's super flex. It's that vampire league where you can steal. I had Herbert, Lawrence, and Mac Jones. Someone stole Herbert from me a couple weeks ago. Mac Jones I dropped because he's crap. So I have Lawrence, who looks like he's hurt, and I stole Kyler last week, who's on bye. So you have to start one quarterback, or it's an illegal lineup, and you can't win. So I could possibly be starting Mitchell Trubisky, Bailey Zappi, any of these guys. I'm going to be starting one of them. What's that?
Go get yourself Jake Browning. Do it.
I think he's owned, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they're playing Indy. I will say Dobbs plays Vegas this week. So if you're looking for someone to stream, fire up Dobbs. That Vegas defense is trash. He should put up a whole lot of points. And he gets Justin Jefferson back this week, too. So, that's nice.
Yeah, I agree. One note quick on Geno. They play San Francisco, who's been giving it up because they're scoring points and they can't stop anybody. Then he plays Philly, who we know what what this man just did, has no business doing that in the NFL. But anyone can do that on Philadelphia, and Geno will go nuclear. Then Tennessee, and then Pittsburgh. So it could be a legit, really league-winning run from Geno Smith through the end of the year in the playoffs. So
we covered pretty much all of the top 10 trending quarterbacks on Sleeper. The lone exceptions are Taysom Hill, but nobody's playing him at a quarterback's position, so I didn't mention him. And Matthew Stafford, which is odd to me. Was he that bad, or I thought he was good? He was. He said back-to-back 31-point weeks. I'm not sure why he's 50% owned, but if that's true, I would be adding him. I might actually go in and edit this article while we move on. I would be adding him here to the second group with Jordan Love, this group here.
If you don't need him next week against Baltimore, Washington, New Orleans, and the New York Giants, not bad.
That could be why. They could just people aren't holding him for who'd you say, Baltimore?
Yeah,
you're right. I remember seeing that's what it was, though. I remember, and now that you mention it, he's had back-to-back. I don't know if it's back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back weeks where it was worst matchup, then it was the worst matchup, then it was the worst matchup, where it was something like, I know it was Cleveland last week and Baltimore this week. Maybe people just looked and said, "Ooh, 3 terrible matchups in a row, and I don't want to play him." So that could be it. But you're right. If you can go on, or if you can get him and stash him for next week, he could be worthwhile.